There are three very important skills that we must master if we want to take our career to the next level. And if you're a leader, business owner, manager, corporate professional, or maybe you're not there yet, but you'd like to get there, I'm going to point out three skills right now that are very important to have. Now, there's many that you need, right? But there's three that I want to point out right now. And I'm also going to tell you guys a little story of something that happened to me recently where I displayed and I used these three skills and I was able to get a result that I wanted out of that situation. And I always say that when you spend time focusing on developing yourself and sharpening your skills, you are automatically ahead of the competition because most other people are not spending that time focusing on developing their skills. And so you're more than likely going to beat them in a lot of areas. Now, here's the three skills. Number one is influence. You have to be really good at influencing people. You do not just want to, first of all, if you just go about asking for things, you're setting yourself up for failure. A lot of times you don't get what you want just by asking. You have to influence somebody to do something that you want them to do, whether it's somebody on your team, you're managing a team, whatever it is, or even outside of business, outside of work, you can use these skills. Influencing, understanding how to influence people is extremely important. Okay. Number two is communication. Now, everybody talks about communication. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, how often are you communicating or blah, blah, blah. All that's important. Okay. But I'm talking about how well you communicate. How do you sound when you speak? Okay. How do people perceive you? How clearly do you speak? And what's your tonality? Those things go into communication, and that's what I'm referring to here. And the other one is confidence. You have to have confidence when you speak. You have to have confidence when you're dealing with people because confidence radiates, right? And people feel that. And if you're not confident, you are automatically behind. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do to develop confidence. We're not going to talk about all of that right now, but those are three very important skills. Now, here's a little story. So recently, my family was going on a little weekend vacation to visit some family members in a different city. And I was really busy, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go because I had a lot of work and a lot of things on my plate for that week. So my sister made a reservation at a hotel for where they were going. And a few days before, I was like, you know what? I was able to move some things around. And so I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to be able to go. So I made another hotel reservation. And we get there, we check in, and we checked in under my reservation because I got there before them. Actually, I flew out before them and I checked in and I was already there and whatever. And my sister forgot to cancel her reservation. And so a couple days into our stay, she checked her account and saw that there was a charge for one night stay, right, from the hotel. And so she went to the front desk and she said, hey, I was charged. Can you guys reimburse that charge for me, right? And they said, well, you didn't cancel the reservation in time. And so we had to charge you. It's a hotel policy. And she battled with them a little bit, and eventually they said no. The lady at the front desk said no, company policy. So my sister, she comes back, and she's naturally frustrated, right, as I would be too. And she's like, oh, they didn't want to reimburse me. And so then I started thinking, I said, how can we frame things? Framing is very important, okay? That's a whole nother conversation. How can we frame things in a way to get them to reimburse that charge? And I started thinking, and I'm like, so I said, you know what, let me go talk to them. And so I went down to the front desk and I knew exactly who my sister spoke to because she told me who the lady looked like and she was the only one at the front desk, right? And so I walked up and I said, hey ma'am, my name is Javier. I'm in room 230. We checked in on Thursday evening. My sister, which I believe you just spoke to, she had made another reservation and I didn't know if I was going to be able to come with them, but I was able to come last minute. And so I made another reservation and we checked in. I mean, all that's good. And the problem though is that frankly, it was an honest mistake. She forgot to go in and cancel her reservation, but we're here, right? And so it's not like we didn't come. And what I would like to do is either have a conversation with you, and if you can't help me, maybe somebody that can, a manager or somebody, because I'd like to figure out how we can get this resolved. And I looked her in the eye and I said it just like that with a calm tone, not flustered. And instantly she knew, this guy means business, right? And she said, well, I might be able to help you. And I said, great. Well, here's the situation, ma'am, is we have family here in the city, and I said the city name right. Hey, we have family here, and we come to visit them maybe once or twice a year. And frankly, we always choose to stay here because we really like your guys' facility. It's a great hotel. It's very clean. The food's great. The breakfast is awesome. You guys, the hospitality is fantastic as well. You guys always treat us very well. We've never had any issues, and it's very close to where our family lives, right? And so what I would like to do is I would like to continue to stay here, but I'll be frank, ma'am. If we're not able to get that reimbursed, it's going to leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm not sure if we're going to want to continue to stay here. And so I'd like to see what we can do about getting that reimbursed because it's not like we didn't come, and frankly, it was an honest mistake, like I said. But we're here and we checked in, and a matter of fact, my reservation, I didn't realize it until after, was even more expensive than the one she made, right? And so I want to know what we can do to get that taken care of. She was a little like, and what did she say? She said, and my sister had made it through booking.com. And so the lady said, we could get that taken care of. Do this, call booking and have them send us an email with the request to get that reimbursed, and we'll get it reimbursed tomorrow morning when my manager is in. And I said, great, right? And I shook her hand. I looked at her in the eye and I said, hey, I appreciate your help. We're going to go ahead and call them right now and have them send that over. Is there a specific email you want them to send that over to? That way nothing gets missed. And she said, yeah, and she gave me the email, right? And so that was the conversation. But let's talk about it. Let's analyze this a little bit. So in her mind, what's happening? Well, number one, she's realizing, well first, let's talk about how I approached that situation. I framed it in a way of we are a customer. We did not deliberately do this, right? We were not just careless. We're actually here, and we paid a more expensive reservation actually than the original one. And so we're a loyal customer to you guys. And so in her mind, she doesn't want to lose a loyal customer, right? Over whatever that charge was, $200, whatever the charge was. She doesn't want to lose a loyal customer over $200 when there's probably thousands of other dollars that they would miss out on, right? And so she's automatically thinking about all of this. And well, what's the most logical decision for them to make? Well, to reimburse us that, right? But again, it all comes down to how you frame it. How do you say it? How do you sound? Do you shake their hand? How the little things? How's your handshake, right? Do you shake a hand like this, or do you give somebody a firm handshake, right? All of these things matter. My tonality, right? And so the point of this though is to let you guys know how I use these 3 skills that I have spent a lot of time focusing on developing in a situation that has nothing to do with work or business, but I was able to use it outside of that and get a result that I wanted. And that's what I mean by if you focus on developing these skills, you will automatically be ahead of everybody else. Because most people, they just don't have it. They'll walk up and they'll say, oh, I want you to reimburse me. This is bullshit or whatever. And they'll get into it with them. Or a lot of others will just accept the defeat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't reimburse me. I guess I lost that, right? And they'll be all bummed and frustrated, and they'll even let that ruin their day or even their vacation, right? So overall, just make sure you're focusing on these skills. Learn from that scenario. You can use that. And I've used these skills, and that's just one example. I use them daily for my work. I use them daily in outside situational things. I use it everywhere. I use it when I'm ordering food, when I'm requesting upgrades. You can always use these skills. Moral of the story, focus on developing these skills, get better, and you're going to notice great results.